What's going on, people? So I have a box of shoes here to unbox, do that whole thing, right? So I'm also kind of watching this here Survivor Series thing, right? Because that's what's on, and I do watch the wrestlings and whatnot. But I figure I can knock this out now because I honestly don't care about this portion of the show. Nothing against women's wrestling or whatever. I just have a pretty strong feeling that I'm not going to care about this, right? And so far, I've been proven right because I've seen a little bit of it up till right now. But anyways, let's go ahead, open this thing up, get this tape all undone and whatnot. So then I can move on with my day relatively quickly, hopefully after this, right? And I don't know what was going on, but there was a lot of extra tape on here. Maybe the box started coming apart or the tape started coming apart. Not really sure. But as long as everything's in here that's supposed to be in here, we'll be good. So, what is it? It's 3 boxes in here. All right. So yeah, 3 pairs of shoes. These things are all kinds of messed up because like the box is significantly wider than like the shoes. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. We'll do this one first, right? So there's that top of the box and all that stuff. It's one of these. I think it was like the OG thing, and they're like, yeah, there's the holes on there. So I guess this will be like those blue ones that I have, where it's got like the bigger bubbles in. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I just because it didn't matter, right? These right here are not for me. They're for my dad. So he's like into this like whole army thing, because he did that for a while. So now he's still about it. Side of the box and whatnot, if you care to see that. So yeah, he did that for a while, and he's still kind of like all about it. You know what I'm saying? So every so often, I pick him up these like army colored things. Sometimes from Adidas, sometimes from Nike, sometimes just random shirts or whatever. So this is an Air Max 1, and can you? Okay, that is what is going on here. This is very strange to me right off the top because oh, it's like super open down there. Like I'm used to the Air Max 1s, but I've never seen it have this style. So we're gonna come back to that in a second. But either way, making sure these things are all looking like they're supposed to look, and I guess they do. They don't look blemished. I don't see any damages or anything. This is a very awkward shoe. Like just nothing about this is what I expected. But whatever. Let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit. So, like I said, Nike Air Max 1, right? OG style, but like this big bubble thing going on in the back. So across the bottom down there, when you look at that, right, you see just like the standard black outsole, nothing crazy about it. Same sort of thing going on the midsole, right? Just brown instead of black. But then when you start getting into like the upper materials and stuff, if that thing would focus, you can kind of see in there like this is all just like mesh on top of it, but it's like see-through type of stuff, right? So flashlight right here. So you see like all that light coming through because there's no actual upper here. It's all just like net. So that's why on this one you see orange, whereas on this one you see the paper that's on the inside, right? So, and that goes all up through here, right? So up to there, and then on the inside goes like a little farther back. So that's how that's looking. So that's why I said it was a little bit weird when I first pulled these out of the box. So whatever to that. Otherwise, like everything that you would expect to be like usually mesh or leather, something to that effect. Sometimes there's like what is like maybe like a nubuck sort of thing or some sort of felt type material. This time around, it's going to be more canvas, right? So you can kind of see that, right? It's kind of like a weird sort of thing. It feels really nice. It's just weird to me. And that's going on with like the whole rest of like the army look. And then as far as the swoosh goes back there, that's just going to be the normal stitched on thing. And this right here is feels very soft. It kind of has like a sort of a felt type of feeling to it for the swoosh on the outside and for the inside. And then jumping back over here, lace wise, standard stuff there with so that's just going to be a green tongue. Get to the top of that, brown top, right, with the green lettering. And the green lettering is very much the same as what you saw on the back as far as styles go, with like the stitching and everything. So there you go on as far as the outside. Inside wise, you kind of saw it from the other shoe. It's going to be orange on the inside, standard Nike Air stuff. So there's that. And these right here, You know, I mean, I'm not going to put them on or anything because, like I said, they're not for me. They're not even my size. This is a size 10. But for me, I do goes true to size in my Air Maxes. It's been working out fine for me. I only have one pair of the Air Max 1 OG Big Bubble 87, whatever people call it, and it worked out fine for me from what I recall. But here's the thing, people. Like, if you ever watch one of my videos or something and you want to ask me about like some shoe from a while ago, odds are I won't have an answer for you unless it's something that I've worn several of, like the Yeezy 350s or something. Yeah, the Jordan 12s. Yeah, sure. Ultra Boost 4s. Yeah, sure. But anything like in the last couple years, if I only have like one model of it or whatever, I probably wore it the one time when I did the review and have no idea how it worked out anymore, other than that it was probably fine, right? Usually I remember if something goes like wrong because then I had to buy another pair and like see how that whole thing plays out. But yeah, long story short, like if you're ever wanting like an update on something, just know that I probably never wore it again. Not because I didn't want to, but because I keep the rotation going and I try not to repeat anything within the calendar year. So, anyways, another pair of shoes to go through here. Set that to the side. We'll do this box because this whole box is just like crazy falling apart. Look at this. It's like they just threw these shoes in here. So, or either somebody opened this box to see what was in it, which honestly I wouldn't be surprised because I don't really have a lot of trust in the postal people when you get to like holiday season, because that's when people start buying things that are often kind of nice or whatever, right? And so then you're going to want them for yourself sometimes. Right? I get it. I don't subscribe to that way of living. I have a pretty all right job, obviously. If I'm able to have a YouTube channel talking about shoes, I must be doing okay. So I don't see the reason to live like that. But I get that some people don't have that sort of luxury or whatever, and their standards and morals drop. Side of the box, down there, 9.5. Another Air Max 1. This one's going to be a little bit different, right? Maybe you kind of saw it just a little bit. I don't know why I put these all back into the box, but I did. What's done is done, and I'm just undoing it. All right, looking at these things here real quick. Everything is good, maybe? Mostly, yeah, mostly fine. All right, nothing to complain about, and that's good enough. I do see a little dirt on here, but when you have stuff like this, that's kind of just natural. So, across the bottom, this one, it's an Air Max 1. You guys know that, right? Across the bottom, down there, this time around, you got a little bit extra color. The last one, pretty bland, right? But, you know, the Army stuff isn't known for being like, you know, colorful. Now is it? Moving on up here, midsole wise, mostly the same as you'd expect, kind of whited out. But down in there, you do have some speckles, right? Which also, you had some down there on the bottom as well. Kind of should have shown you those. So it's not really just like the plain colors. There's a little bit more happening down there. All right, now that you're all caught up, let's move on to the upper piece. So like I was saying before, sometimes you have like suede or nubuck or mesh or leather, whatever, for around the toe box. This time it's going to be, I guess that's going to be suede, kind of like that crappy sort of feeling one, you know. Nothing against it, just saying it doesn't feel like it's anything amazing to write home about. On the top of the toe box, it's going to be the standard mesh like you get a lot of the times. Moving on past that, this pink area, it's got like a leather sort of thing, but it's kind of like cracked in there. Can you see that? Yeah, you can kind of see it. Switch that around. Sometimes when you look at these shoes that have like certain materials, they look one way on one side and then look a little bit different on the other side. It's kind of a thing that I've noticed. Either way, moving on, the swooshes, it's going to be the standard type of suede that you saw down there all around the side of the toe box. And yeah, obviously that whole thing goes all around the bottom for the most part on the outside. Back side, more leather, a little bit of stitched on Nike and Air back there. This one didn't have the Air, right? Actually, this one, should have looked at both of them. This one on the back, one had the Nike, one had the swoosh, right? So there you go. And for these are both the same on the back, right? So you got just the Nike and the Air going on. Switching back to the front, you do have these little ropey style laces, which are kind of interesting. They remind me of, I think I had laces like this on the Jordan 9s, right? I think those have ropey style laces like this. And something else, the Jordan 12 possibly? Oh, Rhea Ripley 1. So yay for that. still don't care. Either way, so you got that happening. And then at the top, oh, spoiler alert in case, that's the thing you didn't know. So moving on, top of the tongue, you see it. I don't have to explain it to you because I held it up long enough, I guess. Moving along into the inside, that's what you have down in there, pink Nike Air. So this right here, it is listed as like the Easter Air Max 1, right? And so it does kind of have a lot of these pastel type colors going on in it. So that's kind of why I wanted it, because I thought, why not get another pair of Easter shoes? I was going to buy these from Sneaker Politics, I think it was them. They had them on sale for like $99, and I just kind of kept not buying them. And then they had them on the Nike site. I looked at it, was like, okay, cool. These are like the same price. Awesome, right? And then I went, oh yeah, these do have another pair of laces over here. Forgot about that. It's kind of a light colored pink, kind of like what you see on the side, but just a little bit lighter. See what I'm saying? Right. But I mean, when you have different materials, sometimes it's hard to make them look the same color anyway. But just know these laces do come in a little lighter. But either way, so I saw them for that same 100 on the Nike page, and then when I went back to get them, like the coupon code had expired or something. So I was like, oh well, whatever. They'll be back on Black Friday, I'm sure of it, because this was like earlier in the week. And then when they came back for Black Friday stuff, they were actually cheaper. So I ended up getting them for like, I think all three of these were like 90 a piece. You know what I'm saying? So now one last one over here, and this same as the last box. Like these things are just, I should have expected this, because like Nike is just kind of just garbage when it comes to just like a quality shoe buying experience. Stuff is just all thrown in here. It's like you're more likely to get something that's messed up. The prices are usually not great outside of like this time of the year. It's a whole thing. Side of the box down there, it's not really focusing. Just know that it says Vomero 5 and whatever colors it says. So moving along past that, here we go. Last, certainly not least, this is actually the one that I wanted the most out of this box, right? So, well, yeah, because I mean, I like the black and the yellow thing. It's just like a color style that I'm into. Either way, so this right here, Nike Zoom Vomero 5, I think that's what it's called. Across the bottom, typical black and yellow. I think it's called University Gold in this particular case, but whatever. Yellow is yellow. Moving on to the midsole, right? You kind of see that there. And then you see that there. It's standard like 90s running shoe appearance, nothing crazy that you probably haven't seen before. And then looking at the rest of it, right? So you got a lot of mesh going on here. Feels pretty nice. I'm not going to say it's like top-notch materials. I just like the fact that it's soft and breathable, right? So you got the mesh stuff, standard material, then a little bit of this fake leather going on around there. Moving on here. This right here, the side. Like I said, I did a review of these, I don't know, some point in the last month or so, I guess. So you got this like plasticky sort of feeling, these bars on the outsides, right? But behind that, you're going to have like extra mesh. So super breathable down in there. And then as you move on to the back, a little bit more like the fake leathery stuff with what looks to be some 3M. And then you got this like stiff sort of plastic thing for the heel cup and a little bit of mesh down in there that you probably can't see, but you'll probably see it in the video whenever I get around to doing that. So we're going to just jump on back over here to the front, because these, not a whole lot to really say about them. Standard yellow laces, kind of flat, kind of round, like you would see on an Air Max Plus. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you do. Again, the focusing is just kind of not really happening a whole lot at the time. Whatever. So, and then behind that for the tongue, looks very much like the rest of the upper did. So that's what's going on there. And then finishing things off with the top of the tongue, Nike Vomero 5. See? Like I said, labeling is on these things to remind you of what you're wearing on your feet. And then you got that dude down in there, the Bowerman guy, right? It says Bowerman series. Somebody said who this guy is whenever I did the review of the last pair of these that I bought. I don't remember what they said. I just pinned it and was like, okay, cool, thanks. Well, I don't even know if I responded to it. I feel like I didn't. Probably didn't. I don't respond to things all the time. I usually forget. But either way, if you want to know who that guy is, watch the last review. Well, just go to the last review and look at the pinned comment, and assuming that guy was right, that's your answer. So either way, these I also bought true to size, right? I bought all of these true to size. This for me. Air Max 1s, Air Max 1 OGs, what is it, the Vomero 5. I bought them all true to size, and that's been working out, right? Again, I haven't worn these, well, excuse me, the pink ones that I bought. I haven't worn those, but I do remember doing the on feet thing not that long ago and not being like bothered by it. So I'm going to say that it worked out fine. Whatever I said in that video is probably more helpful than right now, because I really don't remember anything about it. I remember liking it. I remember thinking, wow, these are comfortable. But as far as like toe box things and whatnot, could I put these on right now? Yeah, I could. Not going to. Don't feel like it. Because what I feel like doing personally is wrapping up this video. So here's what's going to happen, though. Same thing I do every other time. I'm going to do a real quick recap of the 3 things that I picked up. And in that moment, that's going to be your window to, if you have some sort of question or comment or something to say to me, you can say that. And then I will give you like a real answer, not like the half-hearted nonsense that I say in the comments, right? Because this is your time to like hear like directly from me. So that's going to be your window. You'll have like a minute or two to get that together. I'm going to go ahead and knock out this little recap thing and then move on my way. So there you go. Timer starts now. Kick things off with this right here. An Air Max 1 for my dad in some kind of army sort of color with some very weird material decisions. I don't know why they did that. I will honestly say I don't like this as much as I thought I would because of that. But whatever. It's not for me. I'm sure he'll be into it, you know. Moving on past that, this right here, another Air Max 1, the Easter color, right? It's got some nice pastels going on there. Kind of cool on the bottom too, right? So that was the second one. And then finishing off that list, number 3, the Nike Vomero 5. Again, partially, I guess, for the whole Iowa thing, but I mean, black and yellow just looks kind of good together also. I think a lot of people would agree to that, right? And I can say I'm not like a huge Batman or Wu-Tang guy or anything else that's black and yellow. Those things are fine to me, but whatever. I just think it looks cool. And if you've ever seen any of like the videos I've done, the one thing you probably walk away with is that looks matter more to me than, well, comfort matters most. But when it comes to something, the looks are definitely like up there. I don't care about whatever it may be associated with. I just like stuff that looks all right and feels even better. So there we go. I don't see anything in the comments except for something that has already been kind of answered already. So we're not going to really address that. Don't take that personally, Mr. Rolf Correa, whatever that says. So from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever's wherever you are. I'm going to move on, finish watching Survivor Series. Looks like we may be getting a decent matchup next, so that could be cool. And I do have some videos that will be trickling out over the next 7 days. I want to say 3, and I want to say they're all Asics. So if you don't like Asics shoes, well, you got nothing to look forward to from me for a while. So there's that. All right, thanks for stopping in. I saw a couple people, like I saw the little viewing numbers up and down or something. So apparently somebody was out there. So thanks. Also, somebody left a comment. So I obviously was not alone this whole time. Appreciate you guys stopping by, but now I'm going to leave. So you kind of have to leave too. Later, people.